Yeah, there'll be, as per Suffolk County regulation, you'll have to pump out the septic tanks and cesspools, and it'll be hauled to a facility that can take the waste. Yes. Multifamily and single family. It's multifamily owner occupied, as what the village code is currently. Businesses will be having laterals provided to the property line and will be responsible for an out-of-district connection as per village code. If there's a power outage, there's a generator receptacle on the control panel. The village will have a trailer-mounted generator that will be able to drive around. Based on the telemetry system, we'll be able to identify who's in high-level alarm to service them first. The pump station has approximately 90 gallons of capacity. Typically during a power outage, you're not running your dishwasher or washing machine, and you're not really showering as much. You have a couple days storage if you reduce the water you're using. Yes. No, that's all included as part of the program. Yes. What was that? It'll be identified, it'll be upgraded as part of the program if required based on current status. What's that? No money out of your pockets. These pump stations will have balances with concrete, so they will not pop out of the ground. Next question. The electrical load from the pump station is less than running your microwave. One more, yes. It depends if you have a basement or crawl space. That's why we need to come on the properties and evaluate each house individually. Next question. All connections till you start pumping will be included as part of this project. Yes.
And the electrical panel is not compatible?
It'll be upgraded as part of this project.
Can I get that right?
Yes.
People are asking you to repeat the question because we can't hear the question, and then you give an answer and they don't know the question.
Sorry.
That's number one. Number two, a lot of people in the south end of Patchogue, in order not to fill their cesspools, have dry wells, things like their washing machine water. Will they have to be abandoned as well?
Yes, they'll be abandoned and connected to the pump station. And that's the type of stuff that if you have that information when we come to your house, we'd like you to identify it so we can figure out how we got to connect every outlet to the property, to the pump station.
All right, now, I listened to you saying that you were going to be laying the pipe at a certain depth. Is that deep enough to be below the frost line?
Yes, the pipe will be 3 feet below grade. Yes.
I know you said the village would provide a generator in instances where the power failed. How much of a generator do you need to run the mass meter?
The pump is a 2-pole breaker, 240, 30 amp breaker. We're looking at different ways to provide homeowners cables to connect to the pump station directly if they have their own pump. We're still looking at that during this design phase.
You meant that their own generator.
Yes, if they have their own generator. Yes.
I'm just looking at my town tax bill, but I look at it. Is Patchogue paying a town sewer tax?
If you, I will leave that up to the mayor. I do not believe so.
Can't hear it. And now we're paying for the town for sewer tax. We're paying $650 a year to the village as an additional sewer tax. And this is like not making this, you have, $650 is required every year for a mountain, for maintenance.
Listen, you don't pay any sewer tax right now.
For the town.
We can't hear.
Well, now can't hear.
Oh, we can't hear.
Town of Brookhaven? No, you don't pay anything, you shouldn't be. And the town of Brookhaven does not have a sewer tax. It's Suffolk County that has a Southwest Sewer District, which we're not in. And that's, you know, any sewer fees that you'll have going forward will be from the village. As it is right now, when the plant was rebuilt, and we rebuilt it, the funding for that actually came out of the business district. So the advantage that you're getting right now is a plant that has been upgraded with funds that never touched the resident taxpayer. Everything that happens with the sewer plant up until this point is funded by a sewer tax that goes to those in it at this point in time. So,
$650 a year for maintenance for one pump and a pipe.
it's not maintenance for one pump and a pipe.
Seems like you're having a private conversation, but we can hear back here. We asked for the question to be repeated. We're not.
Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. My apologies. You know, the question is the fee that you'll pay for the service per year is not just for the cost of the pump. It's now, we're putting the pressure of, how many additional gallons is it projected?
About 150,000 gallons from the 500 residential properties.
Is to pay for that 150,000 gallons to go through that plant and come out on the other end as clean effluent. So the county now has a program that if you wanted to get into the county's program, and I think it's $20,000 for that, what the county is proposing for those people without.
Correct.
Yeah. You're getting a free hookup to the sewer plant, which would cost probably $12,000 to $15,000 if you have a line in the front of your home. What's that? So $25,000. And it's costing you that much. It'll cost you, and the projected cost is about $650 a year, which is really predicated on about two cleanings a year. And that's how we've now figured it to be able to handle that 150,000 gallons that will be generated. Yes, sir. No, the question is do we project that the $650 per year cost will go up? As of right now, I can tell you no. That's while I sit in the chair. I can't tell you what the next guy's going to do. I can tell you what the commitment that I make to you. No, only those in the sewer district. Question was, does everybody in the village pay that? Only those that will be within the sewer district that hook up to the sewers. Yes, sir.
You know, it really is a tremendous deal. I've been dealing with coordinators, it's quite exciting. It's a tremendous deal to get question is, I have a really small front yard, is there any restrictions on what you can do to cover up that manhole thing?
Got a small front yard. I don't think the pump's not,
We just need access to that pump station. If you want to put a light, something over it, or landscape around it, put I don't know, bird fountain, some decorative pot that you could pick up and move off the cover so that we can access it.
because in the event something does happen, we're the ones that come and have to clean it up and clean up the mess. We just don't want to have to dig through whatever you put there and ruin your azalea bush.
That doesn't matter, it's all like restrictions, you're not gonna get a ticket if you put something there.
As long as you don't cover it, so we just have to have access to it.
You got a question in the back?
Access with fences, if they need to be taken down. as
They'll
far
be
as
put
get-
back.
They will be put back.
The question is if access to the backyards with fences, if you have decks or pools, we're gonna work around them and do the best we can. And everything will be restored to present condition when we show up to the site. Our inspectors will be taking pre-existing pictures, and we'll be working with the homeowners on a daily basis during construction. Yes, yeah.
Shorefront park area.
Actually, can we ask you guys, as you ask questions, to come up to this microphone so everybody can hear?
I'll meet you halfway.
Hi, shorefront park area, terrific flooding, even when it rains. The water backs up at the corner. Will this system have a positive impact on the collection of rainwater?
No, it will not. This is a closed system. Pump stations in flood-prone areas below the 100-year floodplain will have watertight covers, gasketed. We'll have to raise your sewer vents above the 500-year floodplain to prevent intrusion from groundwater and flooding out the sewage treatment plant and protecting the pumps.
Just an aside to that, Irene and Sandy, we had 5 feet of water down there. I saw people walking around down in there. What you got to realize is when the water comes up over the top of your property, the septic system leaches up into it. So it's not only the safety and the ability to get rid of your waste out of your home, it's really the protection of the environment over time. Yes, sir?
I saw a map for like about half a second in your slide presentation. Could you go back to that map presentation of where it's
Sure.
actually going to be done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we got a question. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
I just want to know what are the hours of operation
For construction?
for construction and in and out of the driveway? How would that affect us?
You-
I have
you'll
3
be
people
able to get
working
in there.
different shifts.
You'll be able to get in and out of the driveway at all times. If we're working on your property or if we're working in front of your house for that day or two, we'll work with you. We normally start at 7 a.m. and we'll be cleaned up by 5 o'clock.
Okay, because there's 3 people, like I said, I leave at 6:30, my husband leaves at 2 a.m., my son comes home at 8:30 in the morning. That's going to be an issue. And what if we want to
Well-
opt out?
That's something for,
If the decision is to opt out, that you don't want to be part of the process, that's obviously your decision. But this is a one-time offer that, once you're out, to come back in, it's the $20,000 cost to hook yourself back up. Yes,
Paul, behind you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Being that there's not that many businesses in that area, and I mean, a few of the businesses are really in, mine in particular, is in like the major flood zone, why would it be that we wouldn't be part of the program if our sewers are still going to be overflowing and polluting the area?
This is an out-of-district connection as per village code.
But so then would that make, we would have to be mandatory to pay the fee to connect, or would that be optional for us since we're not included? So now it's gonna cost us $25,000 mandatory? But if it's, But if we're in the major flood zone by Shorefront Park, so we would have to pay $25,000 regardless of if we want to or not? But that doesn't sound fair.
Let me give the complete answer. I'm Brian Egan, I'm the village attorney. We've been involved in this project for a long time. It is complex. It is, and that is part of the issue. One of my favorite businesses, by the way. But yes, for the residences, it's perfect. For the businesses, it's imperfect because the businesses, which again are very few in that area, I think you might be the only one, maybe? Okay. The parameters of the federal grants determine what we can do and what we can't. We would have loved to have had 100%. Instead, what the grants are complicated. They go through FEMA to the state and the state to us in each level of those regulations. And they said it's 100% connection for the residences, but did not provide for the businesses. We can talk a little offline about that as a possibility, but I know it's mostly residences in here, in one business, but we can talk about that, but I know that they were pretty clear about that business to residence distinction. Sorry.
Yes?
I have a question regarding rationale for excluding the east side of Ryder Avenue while including the west side of Ryder Avenue and hookup, especially since those properties directly border Mill Creek, which then drains into the bay.
He's asking why there's an excluded area. Why areas are excluded? Basically, your question is...
The line is being run down Ryder Avenue. Why is the west side hooked up, the east side is not?
Part of this program was the 0 to 2 year surface to groundwater, which, as you can see, is the magenta line. We can talk about it more offline. We have the photo in the back, but that was excluded from that line.
No, it's not. It's within the purple zone that you have on the map. It's south of the purple line on the east side of that street where a sewer line will already be done.
I think there's an existing sewer there. I would have to check and I can get off. Let's talk offline.
Yes, sir.
I have a question about the sewer plant in general. The sewer, my son works for Port Jeff on the Fire Island Ferry, and he says the water coming out of the Patchogue River is disgusting and it smells. And I walk my dog down to Shorefront Park all the time, and when the wind is coming on shore, in that corner of Mascot Dock, the smell is atrocious. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily the sewage treatment plant, but I also know that Blue Point Brewery is supposed to be going online. Breweries use a tremendous amount of water. That's going to access the sewer system. And now you're adding another 150,000 gallons of effluent to the system. Can you handle it?
Okay, a couple of things. Blue Point Brewery, they spent, was it about $1 million?
It was a couple million.
A couple $1 million and built a pre-treatment plant. They built their own plant on our property. Their effluent gets pre-treated prior to going into our plant. It goes in at a level lower than most household waste at this point in time. The smell that you hear, it's that corner. It's the seaweed in the corner that is terrible. Yeah, and you know, we go in and dig it out every once in a while. And it's not yeah, but it's not the sewer plant.
It's not coming from the sewer plant. You can go on the ECHO website and you can see the effluent quality coming out of the treatment plant. The treatment plant is currently operating at 350,000 gallons. It's sized for 800,000 gallons.
How much are the nutrients, specifically nitrates, reduced coming out of the sewer plant?
Typical nutrient loading directly into these septic tanks that are in the shallow groundwater is 65 milligrams per liter. The current treatment plant's operating less than 10 milligrams per liter. We're looking at a 90% reduction in nitrogen. It's operating less, but it's constantly hitting 10.